po ako nag-memory counting. It is February 2, okay, February 11, 2022. So 21122. Okay, kasi parang nauuso yun eh. Anyway, welcome to the program agenda. It's a Friday, start of the if I'm not mistaken, the second weekend of February. And we welcome you and thank you for being subscribers of Cignal TV, viewers of One News PH, and followers of Agenda. Maraming salamat po. We appreciate. Malaking bagay po sa amin yung nakikisali kayo, nanonood kayo, at sana ay nagdadasal na rin kayo. Okay, and today, dalawa po ang bisita natin. Two very interesting gentlemen. The first one is someone I know personally, I have worked with, and I have observed in the workplace. At siya po ay very humble, down-to-earth, soft-spoken. Talagang kumbaga pagkumbaba, siya na po yung ehemplo ng pagpapakumbaba. Pero magaling siya, marami siyang alam kasi hindi ka naman pwede maging doktor kung wala kang alam. Ano? Pero na lang kung doktor ka sa, maski nga naman yung nasa bukid, yung albularyo, to a certain degree, may maraming alam din sa mga katutubong panggagamot. But our first guest today is someone who is a certified graduate of medicine and veteran of medicine and comes from a long line of physicians and public servants. So siya po yung first guest natin. Mamaya ko nasasabihin sa inyo kung sino siya kasi siya talaga suportahan taka. Okay? And our next guest, and an equally interesting person, was referred to me by a friend in my Bible study group. And I found him interesting because PMAer, graduate sa military, and then went into the corporate world. Medyo kaalyado ko, ika nga, because he is now CEO of a major resort brand. Dati ko naman pinanggalingan, yung resort development na yan. But more than that, he also spends so much time sharing God's Word, the Bible, and ministering to people in uniform, yung mga kanyang mga mista, mga eskwela niya at kabaro niya. And from what I've heard, before I even heard of this guy, ang mga nabalitaan ko, maraming na-impluensyahan siya by sharing the gospel, and nabago niya yung mga buhay, kalagayan, the mindset of our brothers in the Philippine National Police, and I believe also in the military. So we will be speaking to these two gentlemen after we go through our daily starter. And after I read the front page of the Philippine Star. So puntahan na po natin our daily starter for today, February 11, 2022, comes from the book of Psalms, chapter 5, verse 12. Okay, surely, Lord, you bless the righteous, you surround them with your favor as with a shield. Kumbaga, ito po ay paniniguro o kasiguruhan na yung mga makadiyos, yung mga gumagawa ng tama ay binibiyayaan, bine-bless ni Lord at pinagtatanggol ng Panginoon. May mga pagkakataon feeling ninyo api kayo. You may be feeling persecuted, prosecuted, wrongfully accused. Nagdaan na po ako dyan. Lahat yan pinagdaanan ko na. Kasi nanggaling ako sa pagiging makasalanan at napunta ako sa nagsisisi. But this word from the book of Psalms, surely, Lord, you bless the righteous. You surround them with your favor, with a shield. I have seen this to be true in my life and in the life of others. And I hope that you will hold on to that in faith. Paniwalaan niyo po yan kasi si Lord naman, ang Panginoon, ay hindi naman po siya sinungaling. No? Okay, now let's go to the front page of the Philippine Star. today, 2/11/2022, the front page headline of the Philippine Star, ayan, COMELEC First Division junks Marcos disqualification case. Okay, at sabi raw po ng COMELEC First Division na failure to file tax return is not immoral. Okay? Kayo ng mga abogado ang magsabunutan dyan. Kayong mga mahilig sa politika, kayo na ang magsabunutan dyan. Kasi dinesisyon na the prophecy, the prophecy of retired COMELEC Commissioner Rowena Guanzon has come to bear fruit, okay? Because the First Division said that pinagsama-sama lahat ng mga complaint regarding the immoral daw yung not paying taxes, sabi ng First Division. Nope, not in our opinion. But of course, this can still be brought up to the NBank. Pero umasa pa kayo, kumbaga na-desisyonan na dyan, nako po, sabunutan bago niyan mabaliktad dyan. Anyway, let's go to the top of the Philippine Star. The header, Okta, Metro Manila now low risk for COVID. Nagbabaan na raw po ang mga kaso, ang hawahan, etc. So low risk classification na ang Metro Manila. Pero as far as the DOH metrics are concerned, we are not yet low risk, and Secretary Duque emphasized yesterday, malapit na. We're almost there. Okay. Now, mamili kayo. Which one do you want to hear about? Do you want to hear about the politicians asking the DILG to allow selfies during the campaign? Or do you want to know about Yun Bin and Son Ye-jin? Okay? Yan na. Yan ang pinagkakaguluhan kagabi pa. Okay? The stars, the lead stars of Crash Landing are going to get married. Okay? Lovebirds Yun Bin and Son Ye-jin have come out in public regarding their plans to get married. Sabi nga ni sino ba yung babae, yung Son Ye-jin, I found a warm and safe place. Ayun, napaka-romantic. Mag-Valentine's na kasi. On the opposite side of the front page, you have politicians or candidates going to COMELEC and to the DILG and requesting or asking that they be allowed to have selfies with their supporters. Yan na nga ba sinasabi? Kasi malaking bagay daw yung selfie ngayon. Yung selfie, yan ang pinakamabilis na paraan na madali ka ng Omicron. Okay. The sad news after that is that more Pinoys went jobless in December. Okay? Marami, in spite of the fact na ang daming naglabasan, we lifted the restrictions, etc., etc. Even more Filipinos lost their jobs for the month of December. And I don't know if I read it or heard it correctly, but I think an additional 3 million Filipinos lost their job or were added to the jobless data. Now, IATF to tackle Cebu's on unvaxxed foreigners. Okay? Yan pong picture na yan, hindi po yan sa Cebu. Yan po ay sa Terminal 1 where they are screening the arriving passengers. Okay, but the IATF will meet and discuss yung desisyon ni Cebu Governor Gwendolyn Garcia na to allow foreigners who are unvaccinated or partially vaccinated to come into Cebu. Okay? And ang position kasi ng Cebu Governor, if they have an RT-PCR negative test 48 hours before takeoff and they have an antigen test upon arrival in Cebu, and they will essentially be contained in their area or hotel where they are booked, then what is the problem? So ayan po. So ayan, magtatalo na naman sigurado yung IATF na yan at si Gwendolyn Garcia. Okay, below that, we have SWS survey saying that more Pinoys back mandatory jobs and restrictions for those who are unvaccinated. And then below that, we have a photo of the officials of GT Foundation and Metrobank, particularly Alfred T., Anjanet Dibuncio, and Aniceto Sobra Peña, as they launched, kicked off the 2022 Bags of Blessings in Metro Manila. Okay, and then of course you have that photo of the city of Las Piñas rolling out its vaccination program for children 5 to 12 years old. Meron pang tiger in yung tatandaan ba niyo yun? Yung ESO commercial, tiger by the tail. Okay? And schools told ensure students, personnel vaccinated for face-to-face classes, sabi ng National Task Force Against COVID-19. And last but not the least, COVID-19 tally of Philippine cases medyo tumaas compared to yesterday. 4,575 new cases nationwide. Although in Metro Manila, nag-average lang daw po tayo ng mga 900 kasi or below 1,000. But tumaas din po ang number of deaths nationwide. 94 po ang namatay kahapon. Okay, so please be careful, mask on, and please social distance, and if you don't have to go out, stay home. Okay, now let's go to the interview portion of agenda. And kamusta po dun sa mga tiga PLDT, particularly Mr. Marco Borlongan. Thank you for our connection here in Lipa and the fantastic signal that we get. And okay, so our first guest this morning is chairman of the Cooperative Movement for Encouraging Non-Scalpel Vasectomy. Bang klase ito. Ba't biglang vasectomy nilagay ninyo dito, Roy? He graduated BS Zoology, University of the Philippines, Diliman, Doctor of Medicine from the UERM or University of the East Ramon Magsaysay Memorial Medical Center. He has a master's degree in Health Management, Planning, and Policy from the University of Leeds. And siya po ay if I am not mistaken, is representing or a member of KABAYAN Party-list. And huwag na natin pahabain kasi alam niyo po, kilala niyo na. Sa nauna pa sa kanya, sikat na sila. None other representing the Flavier family, Dr. Jondi Flavier, second nominee KABAYAN Party-list. Doc Jondi, good morning. Hello.
Magandang umaga, Cito. At salamat.
Okay, medyo, na-technical po. Na-double, nagka-problema tayo sa, ewan ko kung studio ba yun o sa satellite. But we will bring Doc Jondi back on the program. Because alam niyo po, Doc Jondi, medyo nabigla ako eh. I did not expect to hear that Doc Jondi would be the second nominee of the KABAYAN Party-list. But when I heard that he was going to be the second nominee, aba, tara, suportahan ka. Kasi maayos pong tao yon, maayos ang pamilya. Alam naman ninyo kung sino si Let's Do It, okay? Doc Jondi, are you back?
Apo, pasensya na kayo at
Okay,
nasa probinsya ako na medyo mahina yung signal. I hope it's clearer now or choppy pa rin.
Well, we will try to make do. We will try to make do, Jondi, Doc Jondi, pero matagal mo na bang plano ito na tumakbo ka as party list representative, second nominee ng ng Kabayan?
Sige. Siguro dalawang paraan ng pagsagot niyan. Yung una ay mahigit ng 3 dekada nakasama ko ang mga midwife, health workers sa community. Tanong mo, mahigit 3 taon na akong kasama sa Kabayan bilang manggagamot na tumutulong sa kanilang mga agenda. Yan, nagsimula nga yan sa tulong sa midwife, yung breastfeeding study na ginawa ko para sa kanila. Kasi sa polisiya natin, ang dali sabihin na breastfeeding lang. Pero hindi natin naaalala, nakakalimutan natin na maraming nanay na nahihirapan magpasuso, hindi ganun kadali, kulang ng suporta sa kanila. So sa madaling salita, mas nagsimula ang pagkatulong ko sa Kabayan sa kalusugan at sa community health work. Yung sa politika, inimbita na lang ako last year ng mga taga-Kabayan. So nasama ako sa kanilang list of nominees. Pero matutuwa ka, Cito, kasi yung aming sector na rin-represent, hindi lang health workers, pati pastors. Kasi alam mo naman, Cito, na hindi lahat ng pastor may sapat na suporta galing sa kanilang simbahan. Lalo na yung mga community pastors, yan ho yung isa sa mga pangunahing mga sektor na tinutulungan namin. Health workers at mga barangay community health workers at yung mga pastor at iba pa. So dahil dyan sa dalawang bagay, hila ako na sumama sa kanila sa political side.
Okay, now kasi maraming mga doktor tumatakbo ngayon for public office, sumasama sa mga politicians kasi laging sinasabi ng mga politiko ngayon ang biggest issue ay COVID-19. Pero mukhang marami sa kanila hindi nagigets na hindi yung sakit ang problema. Ang may sakit sa atin ay yung healthcare system. Now, you have a master's degree in health management from the University of Leeds. What will you be able to introduce o ano yung maisasalang mo sa Kongreso kung sakasakaling palarin ang Kabayan Party-list?
My work is cut out for me, Cito. Madali ang trabaho ngayon kasi ginawa na ng Kabayan ang aming number 1 nominee, si Congress Representative Ron Salo at mga kasamahan niya sa Kongreso, isabatas na ang Universal Healthcare Law. So, mine and the way I read the law, just looking at how it's implemented will be closer assurance and a better solution to the problems we face now. So short message, andyan na yung batas, kulang sa implementation. So rather than new legislation, the more important role I will be playing is what should I call oversight and making sure that the law, Universal Healthcare Law, is implemented.
What are the basic problems of the Universal Health Law as they are now? Kasi sabi nung lahat ng nakausap kong politiko, maganda yung batas. Yung nagpapatupad, butas-butas.
Correct. Tama. Hindi lang butas, kulang na kulang. Kasi 3 taon na po na napasayang batas, pero you still have to see it actually translated into practice. Number 1, the Universal Healthcare Law transfers responsibility and, more importantly, management and financial wherewithal to hindi na Department of Health, na national office or regional offices. The Universal Healthcare Law mandates that financial and management responsibility go to local governments. Dati kasi responsibilidad lang Pero pag tignan mo yung pera, na andyan sa PhilHealth, na andyan sa PAGCOR, na andyan sa sweepstakes, nasa DOH, matagal pa bago umabot sa tao. So number 1 yon. na madala sa local governments yung lakas.
But Doc Jondi,
Opo.
Doc Jondi, liwanagin ko lang, hindi ka ba natatakot that, kasi ito tatapatin kita, may isang Secretary of Health. Hindi ko na sasabihin kung past or present.
Sige.
Pero palagay ko malalaman mo rin. Siya mismo nagsabi sa akin, Cito, alam mo, nakasira dito sa DOH, yung local government code na yan. Kasi binigyan natin ng masyadong maraming authority ang mga local government kung saan ilalagay yung pera, kung sino ang kukunin at paano gagawin. Now, should the funds be nationalized or localized? Kasi baka pag nilocalize mo yan, lalong lumala.
Okay. Sa national, alam mo naman Cito na mayroong malaking problema din kagaya ng Farmally fiasco. So sa local government, pwede naman mangyari yan. Ang reassurance ko lang Cito ay sa mga local governments, totoo, may ilan nakakabahan ka kung sila may hawak. Pero kalakhan o mas marami sa kanila ay pinagkakatiwalaan ng tao nalalapitan ng tao. So mas masaya ako kung sila merong responsibilidad at humahawak ng pera. Pero tama yung sinasabi ng secretary na yan, si Dad ganun din may apprehension ng una when Secretary felt siya. Pero totoo na matututunan pa, hindi biglang malalaman at handa na yung ating mga local governments. Ang timetable nga 7 years sana Kinakabahan lang kami kasi 3 years pa lang kokonti pa ang nagagawang paglipat.
Okay, so that's a good explanation and also siguro mas madaling magpakulong ng kawatan na local government official kaysa katulad dyan sa Farmally na ang daming mga depender of the fake. So tingnan natin, no? Tama yun. Ngayon, tanungin ko lang, Doc Jondi, aside from the fund transfer, what are the other challenges nitong universal healthcare law na ito? Kasi everyone is saying it's great. So why are we having problems?
Okay. The second part of the universal healthcare law is twofold. One is highlighting community-based primary care services. So hindi palaging yung specialized hospitals na nasa taas, tututukan natin yung preventive and more importantly, promotive services. And
kumbaga,
my apologies.
Kumbaga, iba barangay kita. Dadaling kita sa barangay. Pababarangay kita.
So mas madaling maabot yung barangay health workers kung lalo sila ay may mga instrumento, gamot at pondo. Pangalawa ay health promotion. Yun nakikita natin ngayon Cito, napakalaki ang tulong ng mga kagaya mo na nagbibigay ng pagkakataong mapaliwanag at makita ang katotohanan. Kasi fake news, false news is deadly in health and medicine. So good information, health promotion is very important. And if you read the law, it's not only the responsibility of the Department of Health or health professionals. I must suggest that it's really the Department of Education, media people like you, who are doing a lot in clarifying issues and telling the truth about what health practices should be done. So this is part of the universal health care, health promotion, primary care services, which I think brings health closer to the people.
Okay, kasi ang nangyayari ngayon, magbuti nga nagkausap tayo, Doc Jondi, kasi ako, nagtataka ako lagi sa mga barangay. Sabi ko, bakit ba lahat ng barangay sa Pilipinas ang unang ginagastusan, ambulansya? After talking to you, kalabas-labasan, na-realize ko nga, tama nga naman, kung wala silang clinic, kung wala silang lay-in clinic, wala silang emergency facility para maasikaso yung mga nasugatan, nabalian, etc., walang gamit yung mga barangay health workers, tara, bumili na lang tayo ng pinakamabilis na ambulansya para yung may diferensya, itakbo na lang natin sa malapit na ospital.
Yan nga nangyayari Cito. Yan sana ang huwag mangyari.
Oo, kasi may kaibigan akong ganyan na nangyari. kakahintay na ambulansya, namatay, eh wala namang magawa doon sa barangay. Yung hindi po yan dito sa Batangas, sa ibang hindi sa Lipayan, sa ibang liblib na pook ito, eh sabi nga sa akin. Okay, so ano ang mga pabalakin ng inyong grupo? What promise or kilala naman kita eh, you are a man of your word. Yung mga Flavier, eh mahal ko kayo, mga kaibigan, eh tatapatin ko po kayo. Mahal ko itong pamilyan to kasi pati yung kapatid mo nakasama ko na, yung tatay mo naging kaibigan ng tatay ko. Eh kayo may mga you have word of honor at may prinsipyo kayo. Ngayon, ano ang maipapangako mo na paninindigan mo para sa mga nanonood dito sa agenda? Kasi kay mayaman, kay mahirap, yung health is a concern.
That's correct. So, hindi pa nga ako kasi swerte kami. Meron nang nakaupo na nasa Kongreso, si Congress Rep. Ronzalo andun na. Pero pag namin sinasabi ay sa kabayan, give me 5. Kalusugan, syempre, yung pangunahin dyan na kailangan natin. Pero naandyan din ang pabahay. Hindi lang pabahay, pero tahanan na mas malakas, makadiyos, at dyan pumapasok ang ating mga pastors na tumutulong sa amin. Kalusugan, pabahay, kabuhayan, napakahalaga. At syempre, edukasyon at yung huli, yung ating mga overseas foreign workers o OFWs na tinutulungan na rin natin. Dahil kahit wala sila sa ating bansa, malasakit nila ay andyan pa, napakahalaga sila sa atin. So give me 5, ang pangako ng kabayan, tututukan namin ang kalusugan, pabahay, ang edukasyon, kabuhayan at ang ating mga overseas foreign workers.
Bakit nasali ang OFW, Doc Jondi? Kasi okay na ako dun sa 4. Yung 4 ginagawa ko. That's part of my personal ministry. Pero nagtaka ako bakit nasama yung OFW. Marami naman silang representatives, di ba?
Meron, marami. Yun, medyo may bias ako kasi sa ating dating Klinika Flavier at saka salamat Doc, meron kaming text line. Hindi pa uso sa akin ang social media na internet, pero nagte-text sa akin at karamihan, nagugulat ako, mga pasyente na nasa ibang bansa. Nakakahiyang sabihin na kahit ang laking perang pinapadala nila sa atin, pag nasa ibang bayan, hindi sila first class eh. Minsan mas mahirap yung ilan sa kanila makakuha ng kalusugan at tulong. Kaya napakahalaga para sa akin, para sa kabayan, ang nasa ibang bansa na nagmamalasakit para sa atin, dapat matulungan din yung iba na hindi nakakakuha ng sapat na kalinga at pagtulong sa kanila.
Alam mo, Doc Jondi, maganda yung natalisod mong yan, natalisod natin na yan. Kasi, I mean, sinasabi ko natalisod. Kasi, tama ka pag abroad, kanya-kanyang hanap ng solusyon yung mga may sakit na Pilipino. Ngayon, total, meron naman tayo, nagtataka ako, meron kang defense attaché, meron kang trade attaché, meron kang labor attaché. Bakit hindi pwedeng magtalaga ng at the minimum ER nurse sa mga embahada o kaya ay doktor? At total, the embassy is Philippine territory, so to speak. So, yes. Philippine laws apply there. Dilagyan natin lahat ng embahada kung saan isang katutak ang Pilipino, lagyan ng doktor. Milyon-milyon ang kinikita ng gobyerno dyan. So, pwede mo sigurong gawin batas yan kung ikaw ay mag-congressman, Doc Jondi Flavier.
Mas maraming idea si Cito Beltran, kaya baka bago ng akin advocacy, hindi na party list, maging senador si Sir Cito Beltran.
Pwede ba?
Salamat.
Akala ko magkaibigan tayo, bro. But yan lang naman ang trabaho namin sa media kasi kami nakikita namin lahat at wala kaming limitasyon na pro or con. Diba? So, siguro, parang dinagdagan ko lang yung sinasabi mo. Mahal mo yung OFW, bias ka kasi meron silang pangangailangan, gawin mo ng batas yun. That in every embassy na meron tayong mga tambak na Pilipino, magkaroon ng doktor.
Tama.
Okay, Doc Jondi, maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat, Cito.
This will be the first but not necessarily the last that we will be calling on you, lalo na pag medyo medical related ang mga issue. Maraming salamat po, Doc Jondi.
Salamat. Mabuhay po kayo.
Okay, yan po si Doc Jondi Flavier, second nominee ng Kabayan Party-list. Ako na po ang magsasabi sa inyo. Kung kayo ay boboto ng party list, huwag niyong kalimutan si Doc Jondi Flavier kasi matinong pamilya, meron silang history of public service and dedication at makajos. Okay, we'll go for a quick break, and when we return, I will be speaking with someone referred to me by a friend na I found him very interesting. Nag-graduate ng PMA, pumasok sa corporate sa of all places, resort pagkatapos hindi pa na masaya, nagmi-ministry work pa. Let's go to that portion after this quick break. Welcome back to the program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran. Maraming salamat po sa inyong panunood ng programa. And at this point of our program, let's bring in the CEO, Chief Executive Order of Balesin Island Club. And for your information, he obtained a Bachelor of Science, Military and Strategic Leadership at the Philippine Military Academy. And he is well known as one of the founders of My Brother's Keeper, a movement inside the National Police, Philippine National Police that pushes life coaching. Mike, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Cito. How are you?
Relax ka lang, bro. Hindi to interrogation, hindi to Congress. Okay. How is life as a CEO of Balesin Island Resort?
Well, it's been very challenging for the past 2 years, and so far we've survived through the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there were times na talagang medyo challenging sa amin because there were months when we had no revenues. But in between those times, we kept ourselves very busy. So every time people would come out of the pandemic and visit us, they would always see something new. No, like last year, we planted about almost 10 hectares of farm area So we now have a lot of fruit trees, a lot of vegetables. Naging self-sustaining na talaga kami. And we're now raising crabs and different kinds of fish and shrimps as well, yung Vietnamese shrimp. So we culture them. Ang mahirap lang talaga pag tinamaan ka, like last year, 2 beses, no? 2020 was already a challenge. 2021 was a bigger challenge because you prepare for events. Entertainment industry, especially in the resort industry, ang buhay mo talaga yung tourism when people come over. And you always have to make sure that people, when they come, you give the best what you can offer. Kasi yung reputation mo is always at stake. And any single complaint, masisira ka na kagad. So there's always something new that people look for when they go to the island. And we do our best to show the best of what we have. But most of all, yung investment namin, especially on the people itself. Kasi yun ang pinamagandang investment mo yung tao no? How they act, how they serve, and especially yung security ng isla. Doon, napaka-importante. Because we all know, yung mga klaseng taong pumupunta ron, they must feel na they are secure, no? When they go there. No? There is no threat or imminent threat at all. And the beauty of this is that everyone works as one in the island. Yung excellence is always there. No? We'll never reach that. Pero yung adhikain mo at saka yung gusto mong maging makapagsilbi, no? And of course, the integrity of each and every one is always at stake. So, napaka-importante yun sa amin.
Okay, now Mike, paano nangyari yun? I don't want to stereotype, okay? Alam mo, I came from resort. I used to be a resort developer. I built Discovery Paradise, and then I built Hacienda Resort. And, people would not be surprised that a guy like me would get into it kasi mayroon akong konting background sa construction. But in your case, how do you connect PMA with resort? Paano nangyari? Ikaw ba from PMA napunta ka na sa mga ganyang klaseng business, or you served also in the military or in the police?
I served in the military. I was in the Navy. And at one point in my life, I decided to already give up my commission. Something happened in my life which affected not only my family but also, kasama po ako dun sa 86, 87, 89 na revolution. No?
Yung RAM.
Opo, I was very active during that time. And in the end, I felt, nung nakulong na ho ako, I was incarcerated sa Philippine Marines for about 18 months and 21 days. Something changed sa akin no? And doon ko nakilala yung hindi lang yung sarili ko, kundi doon ako sumuko talaga sa aking Panginoon. And from there, when they released me from prison, it was quite a struggle kasi yung last assignment ko was with I was part of the PIO of the Philippine Navy. And somehow, while I saw some changes, there was still a struggle in me. Kaya lang, I felt as a military officer, it was not right for me to still continue in the service. Na parang nagre-rebelde ka pa rin, di ba? No? So sabi ko, hindi pwede ito sa sundalo. So I quit the service because I knew in my heart, I didn't want to go back to that kind of being as an officer. Excuse.
Oh, sorry to trigger issues. I know I understand where you're coming from because you are a very passionate individual. You're committed. Not many people will take the risk of joining a so-called rebellion, the RAM, the Reformed Armed Forces Movement, if they did not have the guts, the resolve, and the passion. So, and I suppose taking off from there, you are also an individual who does not like compromises. If you are going to be an officer and a gentleman, you must be an officer and a gentleman not only in your word, but even in your thoughts and in your sentiments. Eh kung nandoon ka, suot mo nga yung uniforme, pero sa loob mo naman binababoy mo, binabastos mo sa isip mo yung sistema, then I understand that it is a very disturbing process for you. So from there, you decided to quit, and what did you do?
I went. My first job outside was with Gourmet Farms. I was one of those who developed Gourmet Farms, expanded it, helped in the marketing, and went into organic farming. So my first mentor then.
Paano nangyari yun? Nagsasagwan ka ng dapor eh. Navy ka. Paano ka napunta sa Gourmet Farms?
By nature, my family is really we love plants, and I sort of found out myself that may green thumb ako eh. So when I went into gourmet, I really put my heart into organic farming. And fortunately, my boss then, Ernest Escaler, he allowed me to get educated by it. I'm a very voracious reader, and I always keep on reading. No, so I got into it, went around Europe, just learning what organic farming is all about. Kita ko magkakaiba yung ano natin, yung process natin. Naging purist ngayon ako sa organic farming. And I helped almost all the barangays in Tagaytay before organic farming and organic vegetable farming became a fad. And natuwa ako kasi in all of that, I was working also with so many of the religious sectors there. No? And even the barangay captains. No? And I was part of the regreening movement of then First Lady, Madam Ramos, no? During the term of General Fidel Ramos. So, ang ganda nung nangyari doon. Then from one thing led to another. From farming, I went to mango growing. Cultivation. Then I went to real estate. Then I went to even into supermarket operations, went into security. And then my last stint before I even joined where I am right now I was even part of Petron. I went to Petron. Kaya pagdating ko dun sa Balesin, para bang yung lahat ng aking pinag-aralan, lahat ng pinagdaanan ko, biglang nabuo, parang nakita ko, kaya pala ako pinagdaanan ng Panginoon dito sa mga gantong pagsusubok at mga gantong mga iba-ibang career. Para may buhos ko kasi I also went into real estate development, no? So when Mr. Ongpin got me in and told me I have an island there, I want you to look into it. So nung pumunta ako doon, pabulong-bulong ho ako sa kanya. Sir, maganda itong gawin natin. Ito gawin natin. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, when they planned Balesin to be built in about four and a half years, we built it in about 2 years and 8 months. And from there on, nag-expand. And nobody thought it could be done. Yung amin lang, kahit kami, hanggang ngayon, me and my partner, designer, si Rico Season, we're still amazed at how we were able to do this. Kaya nga yung tanong ng iba there was a lot of Taipans then who were talking to Mr. Ongpin at that time. What is it that what was the success story? And lang anyone who would go into this kind of business, especially this big development, must be crazy. But you're the only successful organization who has done it. Of course, he turned to us. Rico Season, yung designer namin, said, we owe it all to the vision of Mr. Ongpin. Because really, he's a visionary. So he tells us what to do. Rico does the design. I make sure that it's built that way, the way they want it. No?
How did you guys manage to get along? I know your boss. and he can be tempestuous. He's equally passionate as you are. He is not as restrained as you are. Paano nagagawa na magkasundo ang mga marurunong at matatapang?
Ganito yan eh. Actually, during the time of Marcos, I was his one of his junior aides. No?
So you have history.
Yes, we have history. And yung history nga niyan, if you look at the history, all of a sudden in that fateful February, biglang nawala ho yung buong security niya. At kami ho yung grupo, I was the one leading the group, entering the Philippine Marines. But that's another story. And through the years, we've been in touch. So when I worked for him, even after the EDSA revolution, because I was part of the Ministry of National Defense, at sinabi sa akin ng secretary noon, make sure nothing happens to him and make sure that everything he needs, you provide. Because he is a person na asset sa bansa natin eh. Because he was the Minister of Trade and Industry then. And at the time, I knew him already on a very personal basis, but not that as close because I was one of the close-in security personnel officers.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Go ahead. We've been together until when I left Petron, he took me in. May lala ko ng 3 months when I left the first time in my life, wala akong trabaho for 3 months. And then he called me in. So he got me as one of his industrial security officers, especially for his different companies. So I helped him out, and he through the years we've been communicating actually. Kasi I also went into aquaculture myself eh. I went into floating cages in Masinloc.
Sounds familiar. Lahat yung ginawa mo, ikaw nag-aral, ako nag-invento eh. Well, hindi pa uso in the 80s yung mga floating. Ako pa lang yung nag-aaral pa ako sa mga sa government seminars. But Mike, because we don't have a lot of time, but where did my brother's keeper come in? Kasi hindi ko alam ikaw yung CEO ng Balesin Island Resort. Pero many people I spoke with have mentioned my brother's keeper. In fact, one of your members, Jonathan Pablito, is a good friend in Aklan. And then I heard that the chief PNP has been a member of my brother's keeper. Paki-explain nga, what is the brother's keeper movement?
It's a, how would they call it? It actually started with the Bless Our Cups movement. No, the program was really it was a is moving to the principle of transformation based on James chapter 5 verse 20. It says there, let him know that he who turns a sinner from the error of his ways will save a soul from death and cover a multitude of sins. So at that time nakita namin, ngayon naman no? Ang pinaka-aping-api na government service is always the Philippine National Police. And there's always a public perception and the media that PNP is the most corrupt organization. So at the time, I had my own personal ministry in which was supported by the church in Green Hills Christian Fellowship. We started Joshua Ministry. Jesus offers salvation, hope, and unity to the armed services. So we combined, and I partnered with Bless Our Cups kasi pareho yung direction namin. And I became one of the first life coaches that was about 30 years ago. Until, kasi nakilala ko isang grupo ng mga Kristiyanong pulis. They were so young. They were just 5. One of them is still there, Major General Bernie Banach. But the 4 of them have already retired. I met them at so young an age and I saw yung advocacy nila. Kasi ang ibig sabihin ng core movement is Christian officers reform the police service. Our men were laughing at them. Pero yung purpose nila, okay, sige. So I through the years, tapos nag-umpisa na itong movement about brothers keepers.
What's the approach? Well, how do you present it to the officers of the Philippine National Police? And ano nagiging epekto? Kasi medyo sorry no bro, pero yung mga nababasa ko lang kahapon talagang gusto mo nang ibato yung iPad mo mababasa mo 5 suspected HPG sa Calamba ng kidnap, yung 5 ng ganito, ganon. Parang Pati nga doon sa kapitbahay ko, tapat ng bahay ko, pinasok, 5 ring pulis, tiga tagig naman. What's, does it help? Sorry, does it help? What is the approach and what is the impact?
Cito, that's the impact that we do is really, no? Yung challenge namin to put God in every police personnel. And from the ministry experience na ma-realize nila kung bakit kailangan nila ang Panginoon. Kasi, yung mga nababasa natin, yung kasi ang na-highlight Kapag tinignan ho natin from where it was 30 years ago, nung naumpisan ko to, up to now, makita mo yung transformation. It's gonna take a long time. In fact, when we started this, I was only hoping that I would be able to disciple and see transformation among 5 or 10 officers. Would you believe there are over 2,000 life coaches in this country now who have dedicated themselves through either the Bless Our Cups movement or through the My Brother's Keepers? We entered the academies as well. In fact, there are now pastors in both academies, no? And
seriously,
Yes.
meron. Hindi kasi alam mo, nag-minister ako doon. Ikaw yung RAM ka. Ako naman yung Oakwood. Meron ako mga na-minister sa Stockade. Short term lang naman, but I kept the friendship. And I remember one statement that one of them told me, in fact, congressman na siya. Sabi niya sa akin, sabi ko, why did you fall? And sabi niya, sir, in the academy, our lives were lived by the number. There was a system, there was a culture, and there was a law. The minute we stepped out of the academy, we were on our own. And there is no spiritual aspect in the academy. So sabi ko, ayan, patay na. Magtuturo tayo ng Diyos pag may sungay at buntot na. Hindi yung dito, bata pa lang, tinanim na natin.
Sa amin nung kasi we started one station at a time. That's how I did it. I knew in my heart I could not change the whole country. Para kang Don Quixote at that time, no? Pero nakita ko, if I can, because someone shared the word to me inside prison. So sabi ko, if this can bring transformation because of my faith in God, what if I really get into the Word and study hard, and by the prodding of the Holy Spirit, no? Nakita ko I can only do and infect one person at a time, in the hope that that person also will infect others. And that's the essence of discipleship. So ganun nung ginawa ko. I started with one station and then another station, and then it just grew and then before I knew it, the command then under General Aglipay, when he was the chief PNP, asked me, can you help us? Yes, sir, I said. When he retired, he endorsed me to General Lumibaw. Sabi ni General Lumibaw, wala akong pondo, pwede bang gawin mong nationwide ito? Oh, sir. And then that's when he created itong group na if you remember yung Tabakaps, tamad, abusado, bastos at ayaw magbago mga pulis. So yung mga bad elements, dinala ho dun sa Subic, and then he asked us among others to join. And my entry then was actually yung purpose-driven life. I changed the whole concept of the purpose-driven life. Not you still using Rick Warren's book, but in a way I internalized it and gave examples of those in the police and military service.
Yeah, syempre kasi iba yung lingwahe, iba yung kultura. Ako ginamit ko rin yan nung kami ni former President Joseph Estrada nung nakakulong siya. It made a lot of sense to him. So pero syempre sa lingwahe niya. So ginamit mo rin pala yun, yung purpose-driven life.
And I would say it became the golden years of the PNP then. Kasi grabe transformation from one chief PNP in Adapo, and then it became now a course. It was a requirement now. Kasi tinanong ako, bakit anong gusto mo? Kasi ito, nung nag-uusap po kami ng mga PNP senior officers, I said, all of us, whether we're in the military or police service, we all go through a lot of training, no? And when you talk about training, why do we want to do that? Because we want to influence. That's the essence of leadership. Ang kulang lang ho sa inyo, if I may say so, wag ho kayo magagalit, is yung spiritual leadership. nakalimutan na natin na may Panginoon pa rin tayo eh. And that is what should drive these men in uniform. No? You may have a value system, but if wala yung Panginoon dun sa kanila, where all of us started from really from when we were growing up, kailangan maibalik yun. So sinabi ko, so what are you talking about? Let me do a schedule for you, or a lesson or lessons for you na ipapasok ko pa lang sa training school about spiritual leadership. Why? Because I want now, and I want your police officers to have that kind of influence, but with the vision of God. Kaya nga placing God in every cup. And you know, I went around the country without any funds from the PNP. It was pure volunteerism. At doon ko nakita talaga yung aking calling was not to be a full-time pastor, but my calling was to become a bivocational pastor, working in the civilian sector, at the same time supporting it by advocating what God, that these cops need God in their lives. No? Ang karamihan sa kanila kasi you don't see God. Eh. That's the hard part of it. Eh. They believe that there's a God, but they do wrong because walang nagsasabi sa kanila na may Panginoon na nakatingin sa kanila, na Panginoon na nagmamahal sa kanila. Mm-hmm. And when they get it, ayun, and it has to be in the language talaga na makukuha nila eh. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. Ngayon, matanong ko lang, no? Because as I mentioned, I hope my information is correct, that the chief PNP is also a member of my brother's keeper. Now, nabanggit mo, there are already pastors in the Philippine Military Academy. There are pastors in the Philippine National Police Academy. But this leadership and spirituality course, baka naman 3 units laang yan, Mike.
Actually, they are not credited units. No, yung amin no is like for us, when we did the course, it's only for those who are entering the service. It's just part of a series of leadership. So nakakapasok kami. I have one day to speak to this, and then tinuturo ko rin sa mga kapulisan who are already believers at sa mga pastors. No, always to keep in mind na stay on the course, stay on in being advisors to them, na makakatakbo sila. In fact, at one time we put a lifeline. Mm-hmm. No?
Kasi hindi naman religion course yan eh. Leadership and spirituality. So, yes. Well, anyway, Mike, unfortunately, I cannot turn back the hand of the sundial. Pero so I'm maybe a parting message to our men and women in uniform and the public.
Alam niyo, it only takes one person, no, to really put his heart out. Alam niyo na ako, naawa ko sa pulis. They sacrifice 24/7. But who ministers to them? Who gives them hope? Alam mo natin, hindi, in my heart, sa akin, bayani mga yan. Because they've done a lot of sacrifice. We cannot give up on them.
Okay, well, I think that's best. That you've said it the best. We cannot give up on them. Ako kabahagi niyan, Mike. Although I'm not a member of your group, I have been giving my time to the PNP, and I will join forces with you whenever the call is made. And thank you for your time. And we wish you all the best. God bless you, Mike.
God bless po at mabuhay po kayo. Stay safe, everyone.
Okay, yan po si Mike Asperin, CEO, Balesin Island Club Resort, but also, more importantly, a man whose heart is for the members of the PNP. He is one of the founders of My Brother's Keeper. Pagdasal niyo po at tulungan po natin kung makakatulong kayo. Okay, now bago po tayo magtapos, may assignment po ako. I have to read this announcement. Witnessed all the action on the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics. Make sure to tune in to the Beijing Winter Olympics channel, available for free on Cignal channel 198 SD and channel 298 on high definition. Like and follow Cignal on the Facebook for more updates on this event and other awesome shows for the whole family. Okay, and let's close the program with the blessing for the week from 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 10. And the God of all grace, who called you to his eternal glory in Christ, after you have suffered a little, will himself restore you and make you strong, firm, and steadfast. I'm Cito Beltran, thanking you for joining us this week on Agenda. God bless all of you. Please keep it here on One News PH.